Hi, Peter Steckel here, and welcome, friends. I wanted to share with you something that is very much something that touches all of us in our lives, and it's the aspect of trust. And trust is kind of a thing that we see as something that is it's not natural to us. It's something that develops the more that we engage with life and we have experiences. Trust seems to develop. But what is it that is the essential ingredients to trust that will allow us to have more of a miraculous life, where this miraculous life becomes so much more natural, so much more a part of our day-to-day living, our way of experiencing moment to moment through not only how we feel inside, but how life greets us and meets us, and how we see in terms of our relationships with those close to us, our key relationships, and then people that we meet that could be our strangers. And yet in the experience of all of these, it's not just a moment to moment happenstance exchange of miracles, but it's happening all the time. It's like the life that you live is the life of complete pure bliss and pure joy, and experiencing the deepening of that as you're walking through life, knowing that this is your natural state. So it comes back to this aspect of trust, and it's a major obstacle, a boulder on the path to experiencing the fulfillment of who you are, and getting into deeper and deeper states where this consciousness lives within you and is just who you are. There is no separation between this consciousness and you as a character walking around here on this planet. And so trust, if we were to look at the aspect of trust and what we have going on with this, and we want to develop this as a muscle. So this muscle becomes stronger. It becomes a part of, like, we go out and we work out. We go out into we go out and we exercise. We move our muscles. Well, trust is also something that we need to have this movement and direction into, for it to have the facility, for it to facilitate our ability to come into these deeper states where we can access this consciousness, where a miraculous life can unfold for us. So one of the key things that will help develop that muscle of trust comes back to the identification of who we are at our very core, our true nature. And if we were to see and look into our true nature, we were to take a window and we were to peer into that window and say, I am one with that which I see. And we were to take that and then bring that into full connection with who we are. We would realize that this essence of who we are is an aspect of love, in its purest form of love without condition. A love. Now, we've heard this many times in many different forms about love, but it's to take it in as an experience, not as a concept that the mind can grasp and intellectualize, but the experience of a love where we are adoring every aspect of ourselves, the frailties, the weaknesses, the vulnerabilities, the aspects of ourselves that we have been perhaps not acknowledging, or we have pushed away, or are dormant within ourselves. There is this willingness to come into an acceptance of self and all the shades and colors that we present ourselves to in the world. So it's a love, but it's almost like it's a love that gets into an adoration and a love of embracing every aspect of yourself in this completeness of the love. a love that has no beginning or end, a love that is infinite in its very nature. And there's the essence of that we begin with as we start to allow that nature that is love, that simply is, that it exists already. As we allow that, we realize that as it is, there's nothing we have to do to earn it. There's nothing we have to do to say, you know, if I somehow get this extra raise, or if I make this extra person happy, I am going to now feel the love that is my true nature. All of this falls away. It's like this love is your very core of your being, as it's in all life, and there's nothing you need to do to go out and fix anything, make things happen, for you to simply be in the fullness of that love, because that's who you are. That's who you are at the very core. So there's no earning, there's no layer of a burden placed on you to have to get somewhere to be that, because that's just who you are. Okay. Another thing that will help with this, building this muscle of trust, has to do with the whole idea of that you belong. And you belong not only as that person in this vehicle of the body, you belong here, and you belong with your family, your friends. You belong on this planet. You belong on this entire earth of our garden planet. You belong here. You don't have to, in this love that simply is, you don't have to leave this body or go some other location to some other person or some other family to be the love, because that's your inherent nature. You belong in that love. You just embrace it. You just hold into that sense of who you are that belongs in this body, in this vehicle of love here on this garden planet. And we have another aspect. As you belong in this true nature of love, we come into another very key aspect to building this muscle of trust. And that has to do with when we fully feel this part of ourselves that is this love that simply is. No earning, no deserving, it's just there. You belong there. The adoration is felt, but not only is it inside there, but it's inside all life that you are inside of, and all of life is inside of you. And when we open up to this is the idea of there is no separation, there is no separate self, but in truth, we don't lose anything. This is where we go, where yes, you're inside of all of life, and all of life is inside of you, and yet you still maintain this unique identity of self that is standing here as a character in a body. There is nothing that is lost. To the mind, it gets blown. The circuits get blown. It says, hey, wait a minute. You mean I'm inside that? I'm inside that tree? I'm inside that person? I'm inside that insect? I'm inside that rock? And it's inside me, and I'm still a character? To the mind, it can't comprehend such a concept. It is not something that it can grasp and have an experience of. And yet, have we really embraced it in our true self to allow this? Okay? We allow and let go. But this is where we get to the final place of building that trust muscle, is when we have a choice that we make to be that love as the unidentifiable that is inside you, inside all of life, as that character that is in the body that walks around on this planet. It's a choice. When you choose that, when you make that choice, the muscle of trust starts to grow. We start to come into our power. We start to have life come into the body. We start to have vitality. We start to have what others would say is the gold, the true gold, the liberation. The journey starts opening up, and it starts deepening and deepening. We can find this place, and at first it may come as, well, I'm stepping into this energy and I'm starting to feel it and I'm starting to get it, and yet every time I do this, my mind starts to wander this way. I start thinking about all the things I have to do. I start to feel tired, fatigued. I just want to collapse. Or I get bored. Any number of things start to happen because we're starting to connect with something that is so deeply core within us, that is so pure and natural, that we have been so out of touch with this place for so long that when we finally bring ourselves into an alignment where we connect with this place and we say, whoa, this place I have not been to in a long, long time. We are giving ourselves an opportunity to bring all the characters on board. Every part of ourselves is starting to come on board. We are starting to bring life back into wholeness within ourselves. And so there's going to be parts of self that have strayed off into different parts of the field, off into the right field, off into the left field, different aspects of ourselves that have been strayed and separated. These parts are screaming for help. They're lost. They're asking for help now to remember our true nature, which is this love at its very core. So this is a process, my friends. This is a process of drinking in the divine of this unidentifiable. And to this, I would share next time with you a meditation that we can walk into as a way of remembering this very natural part of ourselves that is already there, that already lives in this frequency, and it is there to be brought back so that the body, the mind, matter, and spirit unite in one cohesive whole, to be a container for this true consciousness. And all I can say is it's a consciousness that is unidentifiable. We have the beginnings of feeling it as love, and it goes much further. But the beginning is love. So for now, thank you, my friends, for listening, and next update, we will do a meditation. We will share the frequency that allows us to begin this journey into claiming our true selves as that unidentifiable by building the muscle of trust. Thank you for now.